walking on the Delaware Memorial Bridge. I don't know exactly what they're memorializing in Delaware with it, but that's what it is. I guess the fact that Delaware is still there. What a bridge. Dong, dong, dong. City Electric Company says it's 2211 change. George Washington Bridge, I guess it's Highway 40. No, that's the tunnel. I'll continue on 40. I'll go on 40 to Atlantic City anyhow, huh? Welcome to New Jersey, speed 50. I'll take 40 to Atlantic City, New Jersey Turnpike. Don't worry, because we're on that Turnpike now. Several times, hell yeah. New York, 110. Really just starting, because he said field, yeah, I took 1.5 to start. I bet it wouldn't cost much to throw a motor right in this son of a bitch. Drop it right in. Same thing. Huh? Late for a nice motor? Well, if you had late for the motor in this thing, wow. That's the same one again. Well, I thought I was being a goodie to all the kiddies today, but I guess we'd just be good kiddies instead. It's a woman driver that, goddammit, that's why I passed her the first time. Come on around here, black car. Shit, now you see what I mean? She doesn't have any concept that her ass is full of beans. Come on here, I'm gonna run right over you, bitch. Get up there. Go on. I will. Go on. That girl. Even a Mercury will go up the hills past this car sometimes. Plus. New Jersey Meadow. Throttle, ease off. Half throttle. New York, 100. That old woman had her dress above her knee. I think it was a knee. She's pretty old. Remembering then, the oil price is perfect at 18 pounds. Water always just over 160. Felt that one. Hi, baby. Hell, I'm going to get friendly today. Did we throw out the Confederate flag? All right, well, now we're not split anymore. Okay. Ease off. Comes, Ma, you better pick it up. We go 60 on that spot we did, yeah, just there, barely. The water gauge? Speedometer says 0, right. And we're doing just about opposite that. At the bottom, yeah. So we were right both times, right, even wrong. Even when wrong, right. If you're not right when you're wrong, then you better start worrying about yourself. What? Oh, speedometer. Hurry up, Ma. God damn it, hurry up, Ma. That's clear in the rear. Shit. I'm afraid that is a bad rod sign. Hi, yes. Well, just don't peek out and hide there. That's probably the worst part for it. So as we agreed earlier this morning, we undershift in both directions. Oh, great, or something. Yoder. Well, there's quite a difference between Oak Grady and Yoder, I'll say, yeah. That's why you said, or something. Patience, it says on that bumper. With all the cops, I believe it says on the bottom, or at least it should say. It says with something or other. No, it's a big word, and then all. How would that be? Patience with big word, all cops. Ha ha ha. There's a nice rig about to pass on the outside, nice diesel. Here he comes. I'd love to shift for him. Gotta shift though. Yeah, that's not too bad. Keep it just under the top. Don't let it rev out, over rev. That's where it hurts it the worst now. Not into the strain. See, it's working here, but it's used to that. That hurts it though. You see, rods are hurt by working, and something else, valve is coming by loose engine racing, like full truck, you know, over revving. Well, it's important not to miss a shift in the race car. Slow your engine. Some race drivers are so, like, say, Bill Hill. He hasn't over-revved an engine for so long he's even forgotten when it last happened. Other guys do it every race. Every bloody race. Here's a movie, see? 1918. The war's over. No, this is a suggested screenwritten by Cassady. Everything. Returning then to the rural French town. The young fellow who'd been in the war, to his brother's father's garage and all, and like the opening scenes after it's down the big war, the father will say, "We come flying around a curve in an old Alfa Romeo, or perhaps a no, didn't have auto union, that did anything. All right. Hi, son, and gets in and all. Well, the old man's a auto racer, and his brother, and I think an uncle too, somebody like Cesar Romero with a bad leg, you know, where he blew it, like he looked like Carpelati. So good in Italy right there. So, then the next scene's a back pa, you know, but you gotta have a lead, some eager, eccentric, sincere, maniacal, like Alexander. Donna Meachie discovered that's pretty fair. Spencer, that's pretty fair for Tom Edison. Well, here we want someone who's like Tony Perkins, that's it. Somebody who is, who could be either way, but in this case, it's a definite neurotic thing already. I mean, like, he's obsessed with racing, as say Tony Perkins, as a sick cat, not being approved of and all, as the son, you see, would be. So he'd have a mania for auto racing, even though, like, say, Tony Perkins wouldn't be good for football or wrestling or nothing. Why, this fellow can't race with a damn, or he's the poorest of the bunch. Yet it runs in the family. It's in his blood, you understand. Then we got this rural French garage-owning family that the uncle, brother, a couple of the brothers, and father himself race. So the 20s, go through the 20s somehow, and 30s. Or we could have him, that's it, let's have him, yes, he was too young to go to war. Yes, I'll have to switch that around because he has to be younger, you see. The father comes back from war or something. All right. Now in the 30s, by now, we brought it in gently, like they say, his first girlfriend. We could break the whole, that's it, JB. The whole bloody works as, like he used his girls say, you know, like the Sunday band picnic type stuff, only rural French-wise, because they only live about 10 miles from Le Mans, the great race, of course, right? And I believe it began in the late 20s or somewhere in there, so he was with it from the beginning. You got that. He saw the first race, and he saw what could well have been its last. He failed to see the last. Anyhow. So he loses his girl. You know, we gotta have some drama in here where they go to the Le Mans opening or something, see, in about 26 or whenever it was. Anyhow, he's pretty well emotionally, physically, and the other thing there is, tied up with auto racing, and in particular, the course of Le Mans. And that's where he sees it. He vows like a sick cat or Sicilian getting vengeance or something like that over the woman. You know, you got to work that up for yourself. That's all just a fill up if you need that. But something to show his whole life is tied in. I'll beat this track. This track itself, Le Mans, every year, one race a year, one thing. Got it? Okay, so after the war, World War II, I'll skip other things. He builds, and by saving one of the first guys to understand it in the early 50s, I think it was, in the late 40s, he built the 900 pounds lighter than the other cars, you know, and it became respectable, like 6. You know, that's the best he's ever done. You know, he's, for 20 years of mediocrity, you understand how that works, like my buddy. He stuttered at 9. Well, I had to protect him in his ignorance after high school, you might say. But now, through diligence, through school, through everything, he's the guy that tells them when to release the missiles in Vandenberg Air Force Base. All right. So, 23rd, vacuum always does that. In the day, I don't know why. It seems to go down always in the day. Ignore it. Comes back even on gear shifts. But, so then, after this, so he's now, of course, he's pestered and busted and fiddled around trying to get on the various race teams, you know. We gotta have all that, see. You gotta have some buddy for him, like, like Spencer Tracy, his older buddy, you know. I just threw that name in just to give you an idea. Some boy like Eugene Palette or some monster. Race director, you know, after that German one, Neumiller, who was the most famous 20 years and is the prototype and so on. So I don't want some fat cat, and I don't even want it. But just like I got the girl in here, like you could have Jimmy Gleason if he was a cub reporter. Remember old Jimmy Gleason? He's been dead for 10 years now. A little skinny little runt that was a New York reporter type, that sort of thing. You can have a buddy or two. And so, then, finally gets on. He gets from then this director we are saying, through all the breaks and everything. He becomes the owner, not the owner, yes, the owner, that's right. He builds this car I'm telling you about. That's it. Put it in that way. Something like that. And actually wins the Le Mans race, except, and what, moreover, by himself. 23 hours and 20 minutes, you understand. Over 16 miles ahead. I wasn't even laps. My God, he was so far ahead, he could have come in, perhaps that's it. At 16 miles an hour and won the race or something. But anyhow, he had it won big. He still upset the record. Now, mind you, I understand they have pet pills or something that when they first got them. Well, that's what he was eating. And that's why, with this obsession, can't you see the drama? 23 hours of auto racing with this cat fulfilling the obsession of his life, you understand, of everything, after working for 30 years, say 20. At least the 10 of which he's been in the money, like assistant relief, assistant driver. In other words, there's only 4, 5, 6 men on a team, and that's the most. Well, he's sometimes 4th. So anyhow, he finally gets his car, wins the race, except, and here's where the high point of the film really is, of course, because it's the heartbreak, it's the failure, it's the real, it's the... And mind you, we even have him captured on newsreels, the shots and all here now, sir, because this is real life, you understand? It's the story. It's a life story of a man, Pierre Levay, who killed 93 people at Le Mans the following year after. Mind you, I say, 23 hours and 40 minutes of solitary. That's why they had the rule, 4 hours relief now, driving. He was reaching for fourth gear at the end of the Mulsanne Straight. Fourth gear would be about 120 minimum, so we're right in there, maximum even. I mean, either way, well over 100. And in this case, 23 hours and 40 minutes non-stop, way in the lead, over, mind you, Mercedes. But this was the year before the Mercedes went big, 54, 55. The accident itself happened. That's why Mercedes retired and hasn't been seen since, This man caused the demise of Mercedes-Benz in 55, you recall, the Le Mans. Yeah, they quit racing after that. So, Pierre reaches for fourth at 120, and through some freak, like here, if I start to go for third and hit second, by some accident of rev, some accident of corner, some accident of everything, peaked out, his foot slow, his clutch fast, those combinations it would entail. Hit second, top rev second, blew it, transmission, rear end, everything. He's going about twice faster than second gear will take it. Through this fatigue, reaching for four, he bops it accidentally into second and loses the race, you see. Didn't even finish, ha 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 ha. That's his main thought. See, because D not finishes our obsessions with him. He's only got one race a year. Better to at least drive the course and so on. And so the next year, Neuberger, this big director cat I'm telling you about, the German guy, hired him as fourth driver, and sure enough, he was the one behind the dentist, Lance Schmackelin in the Triumph, coming around the pit straight at a curve just exactly like this, gentlemen, except to the right. The pit straight at Le Mans is just like this approach, only to the right and not downhill, a little slight downhill, very slight. There goes an antique car now, if it's this antique, but it could be a great movie. It could be a great movie. And approaching then this 120, 140 mile an hour curve, just like this, into the Le Mans pits, is this Triumph, going about 80, 90, wide open, about from here to that antique car, we'll say, ahead of us, on that point of the curve and everything just in relationship, say, right. Now, behind him comes the winner of the race, the leader at that point, and one of these, driving the better races of this in and outer, as I mentioned earlier, Mike Hawthorne, driving the Jag, the last time Jag won. Before Mercedes, till after. Anyhow, the Jag at this point was a weak point, and this is the renaissance of Jag, to put it that way. A temporary one is approved. Well, now, stop it. So, Hawthorne, coming up then on this like that Studebaker, he's going about 120, coming down to, say, 20 at the least again. The Stude's going on around the course. This Triumph, the little dentist who shouldn't be allowed in the fucking thing in the first place. Hawthorne has to pit. He's in the lead. And should he go around the Triumph where the Studi is now, we'll say, is where Mike's pit itself is. He's going to stop right there. Naturally, we would assume, and ordinarily you would have, or some fucking thing, part Cherry Hill. That's right, he pulled a Cherry. He should have gone behind like the Pontiac here, hit the brakes, and slammed into the pits where the sign is up there, about that distance, relative. But instead, for whatever reason of judgment that Mike's alone, and mind you, he's driving a race, one of the better races, half a dozen of his life, so it's one of the races of his life, that he chose instead to go in front of the Triumph, hit the brake in front of this amateur dentist, and slam into the pits as we, in the lead, at the right. He's passing slower cars. It's another fucking car. It's another, you understand? Mike was charging that day. No one, even Fangio, remember I told you, was beat by him. He beat Fangio on his form in German. Anyhow, the Triumph panicking, hits the brake, speeders, lose licenses, right here, blam. So he's right there, the brake, at the same time turning out like a freak into, yes, where this sign is the stands, mind you. So instead of going to the left, that angle of curve, the tangent to the right, so straight ahead there would be all the back stands. See? At that slight angle, 10%. So here comes Pierre Levay. At last, he's gotten in the race again. All the mistakes are past. It's the end of the film, dig it? And what's happening is, he's balanced, he's ready, he understands now why he blew it last year, 20 hours and 40 minutes, and so on and so forth. Mind you, the first 4 hours of the race are over. And Pierre went in the second shift. He hadn't been driving an hour yet. Probably, I think, only his second or third time around. The camera follows his thoughts, coming up like that Greyhound on this scene ahead where the Triumph is being passed by Mike, who slams into the pit properly and all, and some contend caused the wreck. But actually, the dentist caused the wreck, because if Mike was trying to top form,
Goes to the dentist. Well, anyhow, judge not. Be not judged. And Mercedes Pierre Levay at 160, 140 up. Like passing under this bridge, leaves life a balanced man at last, somehow. In the same way he kills 100 yards, 200 further, straight into the crowd. This spinning triumph hurdles him. Nothing he can do. He probably didn't change his position. I do believe he makes an attempt. See, that'll give us a 10-second ending. See, it's true. At the same time, you got all the leeway. Now, there's your movie. No, he didn't. No, Lance was slightly injured, out of the race, to boot and all that. Something to talk about with his rich patients next year. That's the mistake of the Moss, of course, are the two types of cars. One of them 50 miles an hour faster than the other, like Triumph and the Jag that won the race. It was interesting to note that the director now, we'll have a little epilogic Hollywood ending then, fade-out ending, he's dead. So we get to go to the girl, and we get to go to the director in the pits, see? So the director, mind you, we're, I believe, well, I can't remember where Mercedes was, but I don't think they were leaving. They may have been, but we won't have it that way. What we'll do is the director with the grimness, the show must go on, with the putting up of the signs for the other two members of three, and the German team will have it too, but it's really three. There'll be about riding fourth, and so on. They'll be left. And he'll put it on, go, 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 see? And they'll set a new track course in 4 hours, like, overcoming everybody and leading 1, 2, 3. And once in the lead, respectively, at 3 a.m., 10 hours after the accident, say, with 100 people dying, he retires from racing forever. Dig that go, 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 go. Okay, how's that for a finish? The idea, that's the idea. There you have it, a typical Hollywood nowhere idea. I mean, I did it that way because how else could I think? No, that's not the idea at all. But it gives you the story of one man, or Le Mans. It's a fascinating thing. You can sell it alone as the auto race flick. Mind you, you know the biggest sport in the United States? Auto racing. Yeah, you and your basketball and other things. Check it out. And then horse racing, same diff anyhow. But we'll go into that system later. We're making movies right now. Movies, that's what counts. Pierre Levay, the story? No. Le Mans. 93, go. No. Go, 93, go. No. New York. Somewhere north. Big semi passing. Now this forces me behind the other semi. But the lane widens permanently, it seems, to 3 lanes, sir. All right, that it does. Well, we might go there anyhow. Right? Why not? Give the semi here his hole, see? That way he doesn't have to fight the fast outside. Oh, I'd love to shift down for him, sir. No. All right. Headbutt teeth, too. It seems to grow in the South. Well, you remember Carol Baker in the baby crib. Oh, yes. Well. Easy on there. Ease off on that rev here. Stop that. Go back to full. All right, sir. Shit. I think so. Yes, you really, the worst, you know what you can do with these engines? They just throw one in. What do they call it? Shimming or something. Like when you're stuck out. I've done that in old engines, these Buick engines and all, too. They can do that. I'm sure. Yes, I'm quite sure. I've forgotten what it is, but when you hear it go, you know, just ease right. Of course, you shut off immediately, but, see, now there, I've been half throttling all the time to stay behind you, Pen. Yeah, you put on top, yeah. I'll try that. Thank you, I remember you mentioned it. Oh, sure. Takes the strain off. You're right, I know. Definitely. That's right, that's the rule. From now on, you drive off the first guard. That's it. You drive off the first guard, you'll stay there. How come now you'll be in San Francisco? If you don't drive off the first guard, you won't. Right? Just pretend that you've got about 80% power. That's what it is. I mean, at those points. Oh, yes, it certainly does. Yeah. So I'm not lighting it. That's not why, but I mean, not these cars stop. First car, that's great. Why didn't I think of that? That's the last final humiliation, this George Walker is taking care of everything. I admitted my 9th defeat this morning, and that entails driving off the first guard. Thank you, sir. Hello, girl. Now, Oldsmobile Nemesis. It always seems to be, I don't know why, Oldsmobile. First car I stole, perhaps that's it. First reject, and her name wasn't Lucy either. Lucille. Oldsmobile, yeah. Wasn't a reject, it just was... I've forgotten now. Well, here, stop that. You mean to say, Cassidy, you've forgotten your first reject? Well, couldn't be that good at all. Well, let's see now. First car driving. Well, that's wonderful. A new perfection modification. I know. Well, I seem to be doing that every moment. Never be seen in a T-bird. Never be seen in a Merc. Never be seen in a T-bird. If you're in a Merc, you're a jerk. You're a jerk. In a Merc, you're a jerk. You're a jerk in a Merc. In a Merc, you're a jerk. In a T-bird, a turd. Aye, sir. I didn't want to make the mixed company at all. I didn't want this to become a party record. It's a service area. I just thought of May West. No, that's rather dated. Oh, yeah. The mattress. Well, we flew 2 of them. It's Lake Rainier alone. Sydney Rainier Lake, yeah. Still off the first guard. That's a wonderful idea. Keep it right there. Yes, sir. 2 lanes closed. Well, crash. Well, what an interesting finale there, JB. Oh, you little fuck. I'm not gonna give it to you. I can't, son of a gun. Back to overdrive, back to overdrive. Save that engine, save that engine. That's it, float right through. First guard driving it, just foot first guard. Boys. Alright, lane's open. Here he comes on the outside. Now for the lighting. Blown. New Jersey. At least there's a civilized cynicalism like the Walker Walker, there you are, the Walker cartoon, I say, in the New Yorker. That George Walker. Well, anyhow, by my cousin George, yeah. I'm his cousin, brother, not the other way around. You know, in baseball, all right. So what happens is, Spoon, New Jersey, in the cartoon New Yorker, where the sophisticated New Yorkers don't look down as the octopus pulling the man in the manhole sewer works there. They casually glance down, don't bother misreading the next line of the stock quotations or whatever. It's that certain hardness in Eastern youth that it's a cynicism that that hard rock Yankee down home. Yeah, that's it. It's all right. It's not my nature. It's not, that's why I'm alienated. That's why I can never live east. No. I'm not east. I can't get to that. I'll try this way. Here, try. Oh, no, you're not even interested yet. What's about to slip? It did. It slipped off the guard. Well, I'll leave it there right at the moment because I'm in fourth. Nice work. Nice work and nice work. I'll leave it there. That's all. I don't want to have to sit down. Yet I'm still. I'm going back to that fucking guard. It's used to it. It's automatic. Yeah. Cheap, but see, the reason I couldn't cheat like everyone else is my foot. You know, I walked Maine for years. See where that point is on the guard? That's on the ground. I can never lift that off. It's just by learning. You can see me. But anyhow, we did get that stroke, and we'll get another. I never did learn how to make those crutches, did you? These things with this. Can you? Let's see you do that. I thought that's really the best way there is to get rid of these bloody things. But I can't make them. My hands, see, I can't work on anything that's small. You know what I mean? For years I tried. Even though that's my favorite way of getting rid of a joint. It's the only way. Or a chicken bone or something like that. Now we gotta come down. I'm still first guard, so that means I'm not even home. Now it's down in the work room. Well, we don't have to come down either. I can ease after the guard even. Now it's starting to work. We're gonna come down, sir. I pulled that out a little too fast. So I'll go right back. That's working here. That's working hard in third. We had to come down, sir. Now bring it up. I'm gonna light it. Got a little power. All right, he's off here. Remember the guard, sir. Now wait a minute, get on the guard. How do you do that? All right.
Somebody else
There.
has to shift on the way back.
That's right. Yes, that's why I give you your consolation in advance. Remember what it did to Pierre Levay when he missed fourth and second. When he missed fourth. I got it there.
Now, what this shift? The end of the transmission, the end of the car,
Yeah.
the race, and the dream.
Yeah, alive, but 93 others.
You lost it now.
I know I lost it. See, I lost it just when I said it. When I said others, it dropped. And I was still moving with the movement of the lighting of the match, so that I stayed with it and looked again. In doubt, it was too close. And I said, no. Because I'd had the previous same look on the one before, and it was still there. Now to go back. We always had the wind from the left. Isn't that weird? All right, I'll bring it down. Bring it down gently. Gotta bring it down. I'm gonna get back on that guard. There you are. Willington, no, they won't light. There's something funny in it. I think that's where the elementals are getting through on the cockroaches, or whatever they call those things you're fiddling with. And they get through in a continuing pattern. In other words, in every force, in every world, in every stream, in every structure, like say a road, its weakest link. The road is no better than its weakest link, you see. In every action or thing like here, there's a weak spot. Now that weak spot is always attacked by the highest of the next door forces. Like second dimensional, third dimensional, fourth dimensional. Worlds separate, but worlds that still touch. Second, third to touch, second, fourth to touch, fifth. It seems that 3-dimensional space and 3-dimensional time. Fourth and sixth of time then, the fourth dimensional concept of time and what actually it is our subconscious, our soul mind, our thought, our consciousness even, is in that same fourth dimension. We are actually fourth dimensional beings in a third dimensional body, inhabiting a second dimensional world. I know, when I say second dimensional, all these primary movements like the elementals, what I was thinking of, that seem to get through on the last eighth quarter to an eighth of the roadster sphere. In the same way that we're all gathered together in this bus. But no, that pod has done that in Keith's house. See what I mean? That kind of, in any case, it's a moot point like, I never did like that word either. Because the teacher who taught me to say it had buck teeth like a southern truck driver. No, like my oldest daughter. Oh, shut up. Everybody's doing the 66 this year. I understand this amperage gauge doesn't move anymore, right? Or it does? Yeah, it might well be this. I don't think I have to know about batteries because we all go sell tires with batteries. And if the battery's not good, sometimes you'll catch it taking a good charge. Like all batteries will. So after they're low, they'll all take good. But if it's not doing the same, but back to normal 5 minutes later, that's bad. But that damn thing keeps charging. Do you think it's going to burn itself up? That's good, right? The same way it reflects in this amp. So the last time, and that's what I wanted to mention, for the last thing about this bus perhaps, this amp gauge I saw working around this white kitchen. And it was going about 40. God damn, I said, wow, So that's why I thought, oh, there might be a bad pattern. That was after the night hours this morning, and I thought we had no batteries here, building up like it should, and then blew it back to zero. But I don't think that's the case. There, you see. I mean, but that might be it. You might have to get another battery. But, so that thing doesn't matter much. So I spent this night there. See, just don't see. Excuse me. Yes, it did. I mean, since the wiring in that Ford garage that you drove into yourself, Gainesville, Georgia, well, you handled the whole show from beginning to end. And for a last tribute to George Walker, 10 minutes later, he was sitting on the goddamn New York 70 mile, New York, sitting on the goddamn table of the patio, wailing away on the goddamn saxophone, like nothing had happened at all. Why, to come back full of Drammer, and why, the whole bloody shop would have been with me. You know, the men that did the repairs and the suffering. But, he suffered and then he blew his damn saxophone 5 minutes later. I said, that stuff doesn't work that quick, I don't care what. So it must part of the major portion be George Walker himself sitting there on a saxophone 10 minutes later. Not some phony baloney idea George Walker has of George Walker blowing. So on. So, that's why I say the 9th they beat, and then the 10th, you're out easy there. I heard it. First throttle. Oh, easy again. Boy, it wants to as soon. That's better. It's definitely a speed factor. You've got to keep it under here on. I could even start taking the greasing to show you. No? That's a nice slope anyhow. You just got to underdrive this thing on the way back. Overdriven on the way out, underdrive on the way back. Like here. Again. Quick. That's it. You do it right. You'd save Neal Cassady. Pull over! Now, as far as the smoking and everything. We had the smoking. I'm perfectly all right. Yes, sir. It's just like purposely going up to some guy after he tells you, now listen, you work for me, don't do that, okay? Not in this state anyhow, while I'm drunk in the morning at 9 a.m. when I come in with a hangover or something. If you gotta sneak out, do it anyhow, see? That's, you deserve it. In fact, we all deserve it. I'm not mention myself, I hope. But I picked this up and turned right to the page in the very sentence I left off. I left off and turned right to it. What's that?
The hospital, we went to the check station. John was right on the back when we went doing it. And they didn't stop for me to see John. Let's not argue about it.
We talked even intimate, and we shook hands, you notice? Did you get that off film? No. Now, there's one thing, and this is serious. Not a leg, not a foot. The fucking law in this state, you can't even sleep in the back seat with your feet out the window, you know, sometimes the toe might stick out. That's like driving with your, yes, now you got all that, and I got all this. One, right. Good! Now, you gotta tell that person to get off. Not the back, especially, too. That's even worse. That was his main concern. That long the other. You gotta stay inside from here on. In Texas and the South, you fear for your life. In here, they fear for your life. They let you ride through Texas, hanging out, squirming, with your head around bridges that I passed close, but not too close. That's why I didn't take your head off. Trying to pull the damn cord on that generator. George and Sandy and other so that's Mike, yes, Mike, my God, he pulled his arm weary one night, and we all watched him do it. That's right, Mike, we saw you. Pardon? No, he eased off after that. See, as soon as I set him straight, he just did that for start off hard nose so you wouldn't get anywhere with him before you got anywhere. Oh. Well, I suppose for once I'll have to answer. Third gear? Well, I've got the speed. I'll let this guy go.
You said what?
Well, I have to think now.
You handled it well.
Sit down. Of course, I realize the best thing in all these short time bits, especially under my present mood, is running commentary. Running commentary that, so while he's fiddling and thinking, covering by writing and so on, you're changing his judgment at 1/30th of a second. In that changing of judgment, there's no imposition. He's still the boss. First, well, now stop all that abstraction. Now, what'd you say? All right. Sit down. About 30 seconds. Like I said, the 16th time. We've come clear across the country and within miles of the goal, of course. Why, here's the first ticket. In fact, it's kind of funny, though, the idea that after all our trouble in the South, and I walked through lanes of cowboys, yes, sir, boys with, we refused service likewise. Even in Phoenix, the reason we got vote for Barry is a vote for fun. Vote for fun because these boys, yes, hanging out, well, first time in New York, every one of them there, except the 3 bosses asleep. That's why they even got away with it, I'm sure, because, well, I mean, after all, we're responsible, but after the difficulties of the South, it's rather strange, and I think it's perhaps will be prized as the solitary ticket, and the only trouble we had was home in New Jersey. That is home relative, you understand? New Jersey, years, yes, I'm conductor on a railroad, broke my leg, yeah. In fact, speaking of putting out then the arms, legs from, as I was in the hospital myself for years with a broken leg and all, I got 30,000, but this fellow in the bed next to me for months he was, after he had completed a left-hand turn, put his arm back and had his elbow riding as and I don't even do that, and it's a fact, as a railroad man, a safety factor, I myself, from personal fear, have never put my foot, as you described, officer, the foot out the rear window sleeping, and I understand the severities, the degrees, it's a form of prejudice, we all have our laws too, in fact, the boys, we all come from the Bay Peninsula, same thing, in San Francisco, we go up and down testing this thing out, same type of ground, 4-lane highway, bloody Bayshore, perhaps you've heard of it. Oh, well, so it's a pleasure to shake your hand to know that I'm talking to a man. I mean, I'm not talking to someone who can seriously even conceive of running over a guy's foot in a driveway because of free concept. He said, what do you mean? What do you mean? Where'd he go? What do you mean? He said, what did they do? Are you a mixed crowd? No. Well, not even political. But, boy, his eyes came right with me all the way. And, boy, he was talking to me like a brother. I mean, nothing personal, nothing. He was officious all to the end. But his eyes softened and he was, now that's just a warning. There's only one thing. Don't let it happen again. That's what the warning's for, see? As soon as I said no ticket, he'd started to write my name. And I saw him pause again, and I was in the portion, well, let me recall a little better chronologically then, perhaps, of this third movement, major portion, critical point of decision he starts to write my name, making. And I felt, and I'll tell you why it went over, because up my spine came the Kundalini again. Not the Kundalini as a purified, not the real Kundalini, the cleansed centers, of course not. See, we're living, gentlemen, by the 4 lower centers of the endocrine glands. They're centers, of course, the ductless glands, the sex glands, the gonads, and the cells of lighting, the adrenal, and the thymus. Thyroid, yes, our thymus. And then the pineal pituitary hypothyroid. In the head, well, the pineal is fossilized, that's why we're not doing liposuction. Well, anyhow. So what happens is, it goes up from those centers, up the spine, and there I felt it again. The same feeling you have, you know, when a chill goes up your spine type of thing. And I had the intensity, I had the emotion, I had the power, and I knew I had it. Right there. Now the words were, right at that line, I'll have to, again. Well, of course, all the Viking, all the party, 250, I think it's Madison Avenue, I forgot now, it's Madison or one of those. I'll have to check the boys, they got the address and all. I just tried the thing, you know. And, well, we got to be in this party this afternoon. Of course, our last stop is in there, like Gainesville, Georgia. We've been on the road since, that was not last night, but the night before, yes, sir. And that's why, because I usually don't shave if I can get away with it even on the job. Shave, you see, the shave taken care of. But there, I haven't even got a zipper on my trousers. I have to stick my hand in to pull the zipper. Oh, shut up, listen. But I didn't get to stick the hand on the zipper pull, but I did mention like the way I looked, sort of. But that had nothing to do with this critical point we're talking about. So he has Viking press. He's got the successful novelist. He's got the problems of the 13, and so on. But, oh, that's it. Ha ha. Bing-a-ling. Thank you, Steve. As soon as I saw you in the mirror, Major, no alliterations, please. What happened is he wrote in. I saw he had NEA. I caught him in my first name, and I said on the first ticket, now wait a minute. Oh, the tone, the resignation of tone as the fire went up me, of loss. That's what it was. It was the reaction of loss that gave this chill up the spine. That's it. Now, I said, I suppose then that we can mail this in. I can call this place and mail it in. Or do I have to leave? You understand I'm returning, sir, Saturday, the Army man, because we have everywhere I've given you exact. In fact, of course, they're all student graduates now, but one's a teacher, for example, and we have the others. But I didn't pause there like that. I'm pausing now because I want to remember my main thing. So I cleared that up about the passenger list, the consist, the cargo, and said, I suppose we can mail it in then, call them up or something, I guess, I don't know, that's the way they do in California. Or do I have to drive back through here? I'm leaving Saturday, in other words, officer. If you're going to give me a ticket, it better be one of those I can mail in. Because, and that, I got indignant, as he still had not written A in the word Neal. I said, here I am. I mean, I'm no virgin. I'm 40 years old, driving 39, driving in California for years, and so I haven't got, it's not that I haven't been stopped before for driving. And here the irony, see, the matching ludicrousy, the only trouble we had on the trip is they'll all ask us from debutante to showgirl. This, I didn't say I'm showgirl, every other word's verbatim. Is not only being stopped, the only trouble came in New Jersey, but that I, innocent victim of these young boys' desires at first time in New York. I might have meant this to you, sir, and I didn't say sir, though. They're a bit out of their mind. New York, 7 days, New York. They're all a couple of them, the ones on the back. These guys, he says, I understand. They must have quite a show and all. But that, he says, well, I haven't completed telling you about this, but what this is a warning. If you get this again. He had the finish and he had the out, too, you see. And he did his duty, too, so warning works. There's nobody on the roof or the outside, is there? No, and there's no breaking of the law.
Service in Phoenix, and literally spat upon in, no, I didn't say spat upon.
First guard, sir. That's on the guard. I just, what was that? Literally, hurled insults at, what's the word for that? I said it to you. You know, vindictive, invective. Invectives were hurled in Maspalapa and Pascaqualagala. But I didn't name it down, see, but I told him we had invectives hurled, invectives. From prejudgment, from false judgment, from we come up, want a cup of coffee, just in a strange vehicle, that's all it is. But there's something else down there, sir. Yes, sir. Here, at least, we got warnings. 10, you see? 10. Vacuum back. Perfect. That was my number in my, I did 11 months and 10 days, like that. 11 more months, 10 days out of Calaboose, 11 more months, 10 days, going to turn me loose. Number 10,000. Of course, that was never mentioned because they only had 140, 150 guys there. So my number was 805. You know, doing a year approximately. So it's 8055, so because of the dash. No, because I have a microphone. 805 I was there. Cassady 805. It was Nelson. It was three of us went up. Cassady from Denver, we'd follow, you know, once a week they'd drive up the collection. Listed alphabetically then it would be Cassady for 805, Nelson 806, and I hate him so much that I thought I never would forget his name. But you see, just I've forgiven and forgotten. So is his name fled. But anyhow, Nelson and this other fellow both set records. Nelson for the most escapes, 6. And most time, beatings on the ass, most time in solitary. In fact, they shipped him out just as I was leaving to Canyon City, the prison, penitentiary, you know, because he just turned 18. See, him all content after he's 18 to be transferred to the state joint, the troublemaker out. So I said goodbye, Nelson, as he went for the rest of his life, no doubt, to Canyon City prison, men's prison, California penitentiary, Colorado, yes, Warden Best. In any case, No, easy now. Back to first throttle. First position. First guard. The other fellow, I'm trying to think of his name still. Nelson? Oh, this boy had a flashing smile. And he was big. He was like Ken Bragg's, filled out to perfection. A perfect all-American forward. Big and strong, though, you know what I mean? But with a smile and a hand, and God, he just inundates you with his very being, you know. So right away, the first day, they had him driving truck on this unguarded road back and forth from the silo to the cow, you know, the silk, the stuff we're back to the silo with, and we're all in the line, Nelson and I. I think that was Nelson's first escape. The next morning, he took off, but anyhow. So, and I was the, set the record, I was the even, I was a balance, I mean, we were still intimate at the end, but in terms of record at the joint, I was the one who, because of my association with these boys, naturally, as any assistant deputy warden would even know, or guard, be looked upon suspect in the escape department, or in this good guy department. This guy broke the record. He got out in something like 7 months and 20 days. See, the way you got out of that reformatory, approximately a year's worth of coupons, you might say, were handed to you. You had to work them off. In other words, good marks, see? 20 demerits, you understand? So you get days off, days on. See, so I kind of evened out with the rest of the boys. I did 11, 10. Actually, I did a little long. Because at the end, in my excitement, by now, of course, from that suspect position, I'd worked up to be head of the library, center of the basketball team, the only football player that had a throw, at least, and certainly maintained the decorum of the block and the chair from my position, cell number 31 or someplace far removed from anybody. I was the librarian. I typed out the menus. It was the honor guard position when they did the top cat, without saying it, but finally when the librarian goes home, I've forgotten the title. Film all this, gentlemen. Please film. Go on. He says, okay, he gave this sign. He did, sir, didn't he? I don't know. Well, they're all black and look alike. But those fingers, he had two together along with this sign. They had this sign. Sure. Well, you need it? Yeah, we're here. I know Ken wouldn't ask that, but I meant I didn't know if it was going to run pretty in. I got in that can, too, you know. It almost lost the handle, too. I was doing time for guilty knowledge of stolen goods. But we know that the Nazis stole the art treasures, so we're guilty, you know. No, this Speed Crispin that made the 10 most wanted, the guy who screwed my wife, as soon as he got out about a week ahead of me, you know what I mean? Oh, yes, well, anyhow. Who didn't? The first day, Johnny told him he won the 1950 Indianapolis Hatter trophy girl that night, you know. The next afternoon, in fact. That's what I was bitching about. In fact, she came in so fast the next afternoon, the girl I had, with all her big titties and all, couldn't get under the bed. She got to Oliver, it sounds like Rochester. You know, I broke there into Rochester. I mean, I thought it was a Rochester and broke it. Well, anyhow, we stuffed her in there. All right, buses, that's us. Well, that's good enough. I don't want to go that way anyhow. I want to go this way. Buses, that's right. Horse trailer, house trailer, truck. Wait a minute now. I'm trying to make this line. Oh, yeah, Johnny told him that. The line of thought, you led into that digression. It's like chess, eh? Oh, no. You heard on. No. Stop it. Herzog, of course, was the name of the man, Laney and Murphy, backing for me, remember, who married my child bride, wife she was. Not my wife, my sister. See, my oldest sister. 1930 Denver newspaper, 12-year-old girl. I saw it for years. She used to screw my other brother, too, the James Daly that hated the Japs, that was running canal all the way. Those guys were nuts. They didn't know anything. At 15, they'd all been, well, they'd stand around the Snowden apartments that I've written about. Where am I going? Good God, man. I mean, I know I'd have turned off. I was going to turn off, but that old woman in that car, I know. Enough gas. Now, that's the idea. Generator approach the other side, really. Parts of that. Now, it's perfect. Diesel. We don't want diesel. They will, of course. Thank you. What a brain. George, that's 11. If you do that one more time, you'll have to be a disciple. And that obvious chain of thought there was for the sake of it, right? I mean, to show how it works.
turn off the generator.
Thank you. See where I got the 11 was off the dash. I need a cup of coffee. No, coffee. No, I don't need that. They're all having coffee. I'll be right back. Fill of their head. George will fill of their head. Like that, because you vote for Barry or something. And they left just like 10 Braggs, Biggs, Sparks. I can't say a feminine name in association with a man. Laughed. And I approached him, told her how I wasn't twice as fast. Hey, you were just stupid. What is? Oh, nothing. It's just San Francisco, New York works there. They're making a fun movie there. Oh, like that. You know what I mean? Just nothing. It's just perfect sanity to deal with those kind of people. You know what I mean? You can't deal with. Good. And I also want JB to know any ordinary man would at least have taken a piss or washed the plug out of his eyes, but after a cup of coffee, but not me. Just not to delay the opening. James went to breakfast and so on. So we'll be there in an hour, less than an hour. We're already isolated. There. You say there's there. You want to count? Here, I'm moving. 1, 2, 3. I still can remember. The first 3 are solid. 2 or 3 gathered together. 12 is still quite a mighty group. Christ, that's all he can handle. The esoteric idea of the 72 others that were sort of disciples to the disciples or whatever, hierarchy idea, it's an 11th thought. In fact, it's true in a certain regard. There were such, there was. But they were of the, remember the argument over accepting the Gentiles? That was the result of that. That was the board's decision. That was the board's decision in that case. I surmise. Simple surmise. Everything is original. First time done, for example, that I've ever come out of this approach, right? First time, I don't care if I come out of a million approaches. That's why you're allowed to freely surmise. And it sounds logical. But the idea of the 72 disciples, disciples. Come on, car, that's better. Woman. Perfectly sound. Still got her left flicker on. Perfectly sound, see? Yeah.
Why did you turn left?
No, impossible, JB. GW?
I wouldn't rule it out.
No, I wouldn't rule it out either, no. After she hits the paper truck on the right, she'll skid off and turn left. I wouldn't rule that out either. She knows this condition ahead, huh? She's getting ready for it a mile ahead because she drives the road every day as a waitress up the road. Work area, good. Get all that, good. Come on here, Plymouth, you bitch. I'm coming on. Why? Because the outside lane is clear for him. Well, Mother McGree. All right, for the sake of the recording audience, and John will verify, as we sat, the waitress approached Miss Carson, her name. So aloud I said, and everything I say here, I said aloud within her earshot, just as I dictated verbatim what I said to the cop, except where I'll note, you see, where I'll note, and John perhaps might interpose if he's listening. I don't think he is. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You make your own rules. No, but if I said, Miss Carson, Conductor Carson, Salinas, California, for her orientation idea, then up in... Oh, stop that. See, you almost got me, George. You almost got me. All right.
I was watching.
If anybody else had been there, I'd have made the mistake. You see? All right, let's go back down. All right, anyhow. All right, I'm trying to go back into guard position. There it is, first guard. Just we'll baby this hill. We'll let her lug down quite a ways. Even easing off. That wind picks up. Well, anyhow. Then, for John, who was there, and for my own motive of talking here at the moment, so I kept up the commentary with a running description of the woman who killed herself, who since her suicide in the last month of 55 has also, you might say, or I thought of it as my weakness, and still do perhaps, weakest moment certainly, but knowing wrong all along through Casey, but my own death emotionally since her demise. So much so that, and the reason I went into it, for John and otherwise, were other association ideas like, so I said this aloud, and showed the picture. I might even have a picture, and of course I pulled out her picture. She did look like this redhead, Miss Carson, who's waiting on us, and who looked like a waitress that I made from San Bruno, California, racetrack, California, when I was losing the money, which was the losing of which precipitated her suicide to some degree, no doubt. Because I wouldn't even buy her a little dress. She wore the same clothes for months, while carrying around daily for months thousands of dollars. Thousands. But anyhow, so I said aloud, all of this except the thousands and a couple little conjunctives. But anyhow, I ordinarily don't say it this way, so I'll continue. Miss Carson, I turned the picture in her direction and for her benefit, talked to her all the way through. John was a silent witness with an occasional interjunction that showed I was talking to him. And then, besides the waitress, was the red-headed daughter of Conductor Carson in Salinas, California, because of the name, and because, for me, even near the start, before proving that she should, she leaned over and she posed and postured, not like the posing and posturing Arizona girl or Gainesville, Georgia, redhead out front of the service station. No posturing even. A normal, balanced, sane, red-headed woman's purposeful acceptance of you, and so on, you see? That girl was balanced. So I blew the last quarter. I tipped her a quarter, his first tip since the last red-headed waitress I had. See how we babied over the hill? We came over the hill and forth without lugging and without... I'm going to save that. You are my sunshine, my only chance to, perhaps... Or is there one? No. Is there a toke, Commander? Just one. Yeah, just because, I know I won't be doing this. I mean, I think that'd set the edge. Concerto, New Jersey Turnpike. Written, composed, and instantaneously conducted, composed backwards. The fucking thing is backwards. Ladies and gentlemen, I pick up this Kesey bus is so messed up that the flute's backwards. There. Now. As the commander lights up, that's the French horn, right? The, you know that one. That was variations on that one. No one was there, but I waved anyhow, just in case. He was fucking her with only his eyes above the dashboard. Speeders lose licenses. Concerto di la Passing Diesel. And a red, hot red galaxy. One more like. There's another diesel always behind me. I wonder why he didn't pass. Well, I have someone to stay ahead of. Here he comes. New York 50. 50 miles, New York 50. 50 miles. Pass. Pass. All right, here we go. One-handed delight. No. That's masturbating. No. That's a Lincoln. That's good enough. Put 15-inch wheels on them. All right. Hey, you, Diesel. Where you want this, sir? Back again. Kent. Smoke, Kent. You you know the real name of the shadow? No one knows. It's not Lamont Cranston, sir. That's one of his many aliases. It is Kent, K-E-N-T, first name Kent, second name Allard, like the airplane engine A-double-L-A-R-D, Kent Allard, a wealthy playboy, Scion, C-S-C-I-O-N, son of a prominent scion of a prominent family, wealthy, who went to Peru and under the Indian training, under the cocktail plant training of this Indian mystic Tibetan transplant in the author of the Shadow's author's mind, obviously. This Tibetan-like Peruvian Indian loaded on cocoa leaves, no doubt, taught Kent Allard, winner of all the air races. He's a millionaire sportsman air racer. Like you know, in 1935, the pylons, why even Faulkner did it, my dear. But, no fear. So much for Ken Allard, the real Shadow, who hasn't been mentioned since Lamont became so popular in late 37. According to the front piece on Kesey's cabin in October, I believe it was 37. That was just before the Shadow's mighty fight with the Cobra, if you'll recall. In fact, I think in all of 38, that was perhaps one of the first, yes, the first of the double issue. The Shadow popularity started to go down. I was getting older. So the Cobra story was so long and so good they had 2 copies. Next month, part 2, the Cobra. The Cobra, because of this. In fact, 1, yes, W-O-N. The Cobra beat the Shadow at the end of part 2 at the only time in 1938, the first, as I say, time. An attempt to revive sales, perhaps. And why? Why did the Cobra outgun the Shadow at the end of part 2? Because the Shadow was in the Cobra uniform. Another first. On the other hand, Doc Savage had done it many times with Monk and the others. And as far as an authoritarian figure need, I even had the Spider. When I was 10, too. The mother dead, you know. I decided I had to start taking care of Father. So by sure enough, I was 13. His old lady at the time had a couple of boys older than me, but first orgasms and all, 13 and a half. And so I ran away from home after she accused me of losing the meat books. Not the meat, but the stamps, the WBA stamp food. $2.30 it was. Just the excuse I needed. So I packed everything, including little rubber tires, like ashtray rubber tires. Things purely unnecessary, but with the same logic of perhaps I'll have lonely hours to play in waiting for the race in Indianapolis and so on. An illogical logic, yeah. So I had gone about 20 miles in the back of a pickup, Mexican they were, to Boulder, Colorado, where the sugar beets are brought in. Pardon? No, I was 13 and a half. I just turned 14, sir. 14, yes, because it was 1938. No. I was 12 and 38. 14, 1940. That's the only 2 Indianapolis races I saw. It was 1940 and 1950. First one here, and the next 10 years later, the guy who fucked my first old lady is a trophy guy. So I improved. She was fun to go. I used to even drive her around the whore. She had no morals, because I didn't know any better, even though philosophically, that's all I did. My wedding night, read Schopenhauer and so on. But anyhow, really, so that, Fight! Lights, bites. Yeah, you step on the lower bone too, man. Bite you? No bites, sir. No, sir, not a bite. Yeah. Good God. No, definitely not. As far as I can feel. And I have very sensitive skin, sir. Very sensitive. Oh, really? Yes. And I'm always, listen, I'm bitten by everything, though. No, if there's anything in the bed, I'll get it. Now, you got that elsewhere. I'm almost positive. Custom. On the floor, perhaps. You were on the floor, remember, last night. It's not out of that bunk, I'll bet. First car. So Father, that's why I never finished 9th grade, because Father would go to work on WPA after I headed for school. So I'd pretend to go to school and double back, and we'd go to bed about 10 o'clock and get up in time to greet him. Returning. A lovely woman, 38, rather a bit of a redhead herself, sir. Auburn white. These two boys resented it. They knew I was screwing her, and the old man, he knew it too, so when he'd get drunk, he'd cuss me out. Well, in fact, when he was drunk, the way I do it, you see, I was on my first job down delivery, pedaling bike and winning, making more money than anyone else because of the single I had, you know, the average odds of racing on the 7 back sprocket and the 32 front. And so that, with no brakes, but anyhow, it taught me to bounce off cars. That's lovely. And learned the corner, in fact, on that bike. By skidding, I mean, you know, the drift idea. I hit it with my foot, and it's outside. Anyhow, the Father, I would go home, and it was about 3 blocks to the nearest wine. I'd say, okay, boy, they'd all be sitting there in a hangover, not a cent. Well, if you want a 4-bit bottle of wine, go get it, boy. I give him 4 bits. And he'd run, that fat little old fella, run like hell. Well, I fucked her in the chair, see? Out the window so I could watch him coming back. And here he come, and I just wouldn't have come. And I'd always barely get my gun off, just as his feet had hit the stairs. Perfect, just to the last second, you know, spring to the last stroke. And come just as his hands on the door, and flop bang, and we're both sitting there talking when he gets it. And he knows. In fact, it wasn't my father I was worried about, but this Greek, John the Greek, what a wang. No, that was John, yes. But John, of course, like most little guys, have big dicks. But John would get drunk and become abusive to me. He was the one that was really jealous of me, see? Each for his own reason, the father, the older boys, and so on, had to not admit it publicly, you know, and so. But Johnny, being the boyfriend of the woman, as well as other alcoholic men or whatever, who herself is now in the insane asylum at 70 years old in Colorado, Pueblo, yes. And still writes sexy letters to my old man. No kidding. 30 years back. Well, anyhow. So, she was a real hit. Anyhow. She was great. But, we'll go there. Because I was going to go into sex stories now. But so what happened is, well, I don't care. Liquid? Have you got some? It may be 1 penny. I've only had 1.5 pennies. I know you're out. Well, no, I don't really need none. No. Hell no. Buses. Driving their lights on in the east, I guess.